I'll start with a very basic definition, two definitions actually, and two quotes from two leading scholars, and I'll build my frame in 10 minutes around those. The first is by a great intellectual and writer. His name was Victor Hugo. And he had said, and I quote, he had said, "There is one thing stronger than all the militaries of the world. There's one thing stronger than all the militaries of the world, and that is an idea whose time has come." The second quote around which I'll build my idea is by another great leader. His name was Martin Luther King, who had said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Now I want to relate the idea of how the concept of Imam Mahdi is presented globally in a political sense, which at times, and I'll be totally blunt and candid with you, and because the global context is beyond religious ideals and religious terminologies, the way so often the idea of Imam is presented creates more fear and scare rather than an idea which you and we are talking about. And we heard about the brilliant ideas from the first session, great scholars who had talked about hope, who had talked about justice. Building on to that, the brilliant ideas, I would start by saying, awakening, yes, we had heard about active awakening. Awakening, yes, but global awakening. Hope, yes, but hope for everyone. Justice, absolutely yes, but justice for everyone. Do you think the conception that most non-Muslims have about what Muslims, whether Shia or Sunni, believe in the idea of Imam and the idea of the end times? Because every community believes or thinks that the Messiah is going to come to rescue their own community. And that is not a fault of Muslims, because that was historically the case, and I'll come to it. So the first and foremost principle that we should remember is that the idea of our Imam, who we are talking about, is an idea for global humanity. It is not an idea restricted to one community. It is an idea which is meant for the whole global community. That, as simple as the idea may look to you, it is in most cases not understood. Two examples. One was, this is from a major newspaper, I think it was Guardian if I remember clearly. It mentioned there's a story, a fascinating story, about 7 years ago. There was a group of special forces and intelligence interrogators, and they went to a very important prison in Iraq. And they started saying that we are interrogating this group of religious extremists who were from ISIS and from all the other groups. They took, and then they picked up some people who were from the local Shias, and they took them to one place and started interrogating them and asking a very strange question. They started asking them, so we are here, we have been collected from all the important intelligence agencies, we are here to ask one question, and the question is, where is Mahdi? Of course, the prisoners were totally stunned. They said, what do you mean, where is Mahdi? How do we know? They said, no, we know that you know. This is what we know. And the interrogation started till the stupidity was stopped after a few days, when somebody said to them, why are you asking this question? They said, no, we think these are religious people who have believed to be religiously motivated, and we think that the Shia's Imam has come, and we want to figure out from these people. Another, a major leader globally, recently, talking to a group of people, and these head of the state, and I want you to actually do some research and figure out who I'm talking about later on. He invited some top Muslims in that country, a Western capital, and he said to them that, look, I have been trying to it was an Eid event that he invited everyone. And he said, I have been trying to learn about Islam, so much so that I hired an Islamic studies professor. And at one point, that Islamic studies professor said to me, Mr. President, how much do you really want to know about Islam? And he said, ultimately, I said to him, okay, I think I have enough knowledge. And he said that, but then now I realize about the 12th Imam. Luckily, he stopped there at that point, but I think, and many people think, he was going in a very problematic direction what he wanted or what he heard about the Imam. So the point I'm making here is, many of these misunderstandings are happening because of lack of clarity in how we project, and in lack of clarity how we explain. I've hardly, I think, 5 more minutes, so I'll come to how can we tackle this misunderstanding. And by the way, misunderstandings in international conflict it's a whole field of study. The researchers say that about 40 to 50% of the conflict happens because of misunderstandings in language and translations. There was a huge, after World War II, there was a huge issue between Norway and Denmark just because of a wrong translation. Think of this, how the wrong translation can create conflicts, and 40 to 50% of the conflicts take place like that. That's why the way we frame our context or frame our understanding and idea of Imam Mahdi is extremely important. Number one, what we should do you think you are the first community ever that was in this world who thinks that there was an Imam or Messiah coming? Christians believe in it. Jews believe in it, about the idea of Messiah. Zoroastrians, Hindus, Buddhists, and I'm missing one other community as well. The point is, and you go into their religious bookstores, you'll find tons of books on Messiah, and they use 2 words, Savior and Redeemer. Do you, as Shia Muslims or as Muslims here, do you have a problem with the word Savior and Redeemer? No, we don't have a problem with the word Savior and Redeemer, because it is exactly the same idea about fighting against injustice. And think of injustice. If you frame the ideas as the ideas against injustice and use religious knowledge from so many different religious traditions, immediately you'll make a connection which the others will understand. The concept of Imam Mahdi is not to scare anyone, is not to tell anyone that we someday are going to be dominant over you. The idea is there will be justice for all. The idea is there is going to be hope for all. The idea is we will fight against oppression all together as a humanity. Because the global inequality is what haunts us. The climate change, income disparity, wealth disparity. Can you imagine just 2 facts? During the COVID era, there are 2,755 billionaires. Yes, we have that much billionaires in the world. 2,755 billionaires during the COVID-19 era, their income increased. And I'm not mentioning those billionaires whose income decreased. Also, at the same time, every 4 seconds, someone dies of hunger, of lack of access to medicine. If you are going to make your case to people of other religious faiths and even non-religious people, as you believe in somebody who's going to come and create justice, who's going to create equality, who's going to create a peaceful end of the world. Because my last point, because it's at the end of the day, this idea of Imam and the end of times is not a utopia. If someone would say, God sent 313 short books, 4 religions, 124,000 prophets, and at the end of the day, those ideals have not been fulfilled. It is our Imam who will come and prove that the idea of religion was not a utopian idea. It was an idea which is doable, which is possible. That's why don't hesitate to quote people who from other religious traditions and political ideals frame the issues like you do. I close again with the same idea. There's one thing stronger than all the militaries of the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. And injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. That is our frame. Thank you very much.